Hello, hello, hello. TM24 here, and we are back with some more Marvel Snap content. If you are just now finding the channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for your continued support. I appreciate it. Loki the llama here appreciates it as well. And today I've got a deck video for y'all. This deck is going to be centered around Phoenix Force, the newest card added to Marvel Snap, and basically the goal of this was to find the best Phoenix Force list. So that was the goal. That's what we were trying to do. How can we make the most out of the newest card here? Obviously, it's got great synergy with move cards. Phoenix Force is bringing back a card that has been destroyed, combining with it, and then has the ability to move. So cards like Vulture, Dagger, Human Torch will make Phoenix Force absolutely insane. And that's not even talking about multiple man and what you can do with Hulkbuster and things like that, but that's the second list. This was the first version. I'm going to show you the second version here in a moment. But yeah, let's talk about this list, right? Obviously, it's a move list, but we've got two destroy pieces in here. We've got Carnage and Venom. But first off, let's talk about the one drops. We've got Human Torch and Iron Fist. Human Torch is going to be a potential target for our Phoenix Force play. So what that means is if we don't have some of the other options that might be a little bit better, might not be, that Human Torch is a card that we do not mind destroying and bringing back with Phoenix Force. So Human Torch is probably, I would say, maybe the second best target, maybe third, depending on how you look at it, but definitely a target nonetheless. Ideally, you're hoping for something else, but we'll get into that in a moment. Iron Fist is one of our key actual move pieces. Now, Iron Fist is great because he's going to proc that ability. All these move abilities, whether it's Vulture, whether it's Torch, whether it's Phoenix Force. And that's one of the best ways I've found of using Iron Fist, is playing him on turn 4 preemptively for Phoenix Force, and then you're getting that benefit right off the bat on turn 5. Then you can move it again, and then you could potentially move it 2 more times depending on how your hand plays out. So Iron Fist can be huge, especially when played on turn 4. Next up in this list, we have 5 2-drops. In the next list, that changes a little bit, but you'll see that in a moment. So this one, Carnage, is one of our destroy pieces. Obviously, we're hitting one of the 4 main targets. So that's what Carnage is here to do. Dagger would probably be considered like the 4th best option for a target, maybe 3rd, depending on how you look at it. So that's pretty much what Dagger's in here for. Not really going to get a whole lot of other use unless you're Iron Fisting Dagger into a location, and then at least it's, it's a little something, but Dagger is typically just like a backup to the backup to the backup option for a destroy. Next up is Ghost Spider. Now, Ghost Spider is one of our 3 pieces that we can use to move these cards. Iron Fist, Ghost Spider, and Doctor Strange. Well, this list has 4. This list has 4. The next one is actually the one that has 3. So we've actually got 4 ways to move cards in here, but it's a little bit tough to play them all, which is why I ended up making a change, specifically because of Cloak. But let's talk about Ghost Spider first. She's great on turn 6. So turn 5, you get Phoenix Force down. Turn 6, you can Ghost Spider. She's also very solid going into turn 4 as well, if you feel confident that you're going to have one of those other move pieces in your hand. So on turn 4, being able to pull something like a Vulture or like a Venom that just ate up that main target into a different lane to start stacking power there can be great as well, but typically you want to play her on turn 6. Multiple Man is probably the best target for Phoenix Force. So ideally you get Multiple Man down on 2. On 3, you can follow that right up with a Venom, Carnage if you don't have Venom. Multiple Man is great is because Phoenix Force can move, so you'd be leaving all those high-powered duplicates around, and that's just a ton of power that you can now move like we said, up to 4 times if your cards work out right. So multiple man is definitely the best option. Doctor Strange is another very solid turn 6 play. Can be played on turn 4 next to an Iron Fist or something like that if you wanted to move that Venom or a Vulture or something like that. But typically better on turn 6 as well. Venom is there to destroy, right? He's there to take out ideally multiple man or your other 2 targets. Then we've got Vulture. Vulture is another one of those great targets. Probably the 3rd best target, I would say. I'd say first it would be multiple man. Then you probably want Human Torch, Vulture, and then Dagger in that first list. But Vulture, 3rd best target. We've got Spider-Man in this list because he's reduced down to 1 cost. You can get him out on turn 4 in combination with an Iron Fist and a Ghost Spider. So Spider-Man feels great. And then, of course, the list is built around Phoenix Force, who is bringing back one of those 3 or 4 targets, combining with it and putting out huge amounts of power. Now, while I was explaining the last of those cards, we did flip over to the other list, and you'll see the change that we made. We took out Dagger, and we took out Cloak. And in came Kraven and Hulkbuster. Now, the reason for this was Kraven can be powered up, one, by the other person moving their cards, and there are a ton of move decks right now. And 2, we can actually leave a space or 2 open on Kraven, pull a card into it, then be able to move it out and bring it back again. So we've got potential to proc Kraven like 3 or 4 times without actually even filling it up, or rather filling it up at 3, 4 times of a card moving there. So that's why we went with Kraven. And then Hulkbuster probably should be mandatory in any multiple man list. I don't know how I left Hulkbuster out, but it's absolutely huge. You get Hulkbuster down on top of multiple man, even if you don't hit any of those destroy pieces, you still feel good about pulling those 7 power multiple mans around the board and just stacking power that way. So Hulkbuster essentially gives you another win condition, not relying on destroying one of those main targets. But I'll talk you through this last. I think I've got one more game, and then we'll go back to the list and we'll talk about it a little bit more. But here we go. All right, so we've got nothing in our hand right now. If we pick up Human Torch, great, but we're not necessarily going to destroy Human Torch right away. Sometimes we can wait until 3 to see if we hit the target that we want to hit so that we can destroy on 4. But, in this case, we're trying to set up the best play here. Human Torch is right now probably our best option. We don't have any of the other destroy pieces in our hand yet, so we would have been looking for Vulture or multiple man. Maybe Kraven, but we pick up Vulture right here, which is a nice pickup, but it gives us a decision to make. Do we want to go all in on the Human Torch, or do we want to get Vulture down? And ultimately, we decide to go all in on Human Torch, buff that up as much as we can. They counter with a Zabu and a Quinjet, which is fine, but turn 4 has come, and now ideally we destroy it if we had Phoenix Force in hand. But since we don't, now we've got to figure out how we want to play this. So we've got Vulture ready to go. We've got Ghost Spider. We could pull that Human Torch, start stacking some power. Probably not Coulson. Doctor Strange is probably going to wait on that one as well. But we're just trying to pick out the best play here. And it can be tough. Ultimately, we're going to go with Ghost Spider and then a multiple man. Ghost Spider is going to pull Human Torch, double him up. Multiple man is going to be just a presence in the vault. So just a little bit of power there so that we're not too far behind. We know that turn 5 is now our last chance to get there, and we have the option of just going Doctor Strange into the vault with Human Torch to secure that location. And ultimately, that's what we're going to do here. Additionally, we have 2 extra energy, so we've got Carnage, and we might as well play him. The question is Hell's Kitchen or potentially the Daily Bugle, Hell's Kitchen, just it makes more sense spreading out our power a little bit. Even though it's too, it would have been 1 more power in the Daily Bugle, but net we're +2. So Nick Fury comes down for them. Not really all that concerning for us, simply because we got the Human Torch over there. The only thing that would, hurt would be a Killmonger. But now we're going into turn 6, and we have a couple of plays here. We've got Venom, which we could destroy with, and Venom probably, and Coulson. We could go Phoenix Force and Morales, which is the most power and what we are planning on doing here. So we end up putting Spider-Man down, Phoenix Force down. We are tied in Hell's Kitchen, but we are absolutely crushing the vault. So we're just waiting for our opponent to make a move here. We put out 11 power on turn 6. And while they ended up playing into that location as well, we beat them on power differential. So maybe we get a little bit lucky there, but a nice victory nonetheless. Now, a game like this is where it can feel a little bit tough. We get Project Pegasus on turn 1, a chance to go with the 6-drop on the first turn, but because of the way our hand is set up, where it's all of the complementary pieces, we don't have anything good we can play. So we're just passing on 6 energy on the first turn, and that just feels a little bad sometimes. Not, by any means, a reason not to play this list, but it does feel a little bit tough skipping on, 6 energy potential. But it's the right move, and no need to play those pieces early. We end up picking up Multiple Man here, and we have Hulkbuster ready to go. We get a copy of their Shang-Chi, and we draw our own Phoenix Force. So if we can draw Venom or Carnage next turn, then we've got a chance to set up a Carnage into an Iron Fist for a turn 5 Phoenix Force. They end up playing our Hulkbuster onto their Quinjet, and then ours comes down on Multiple Man anyway. So now we're on turn 4, and we don't hit the Venom or the Carnage. But what's nice is we still have this Ghost Spider, we still have Doctor Strange, we still have plays that we can make, and Multiple Man is sticky. So he's going to be putting out a bunch of power here as he, clones himself to each location. Another nice thing about not going with the full Phoenix Force combo is that these 7s can't be hit by a Shang-Chi. We know that they have it, so if we would have went with the Multiple Man and Hulkbuster into Phoenix Force, then those Multiple Men would have been in range of Shang-Chi. So just something nice to kind of think about when you don't hit that full combo, that at least you can't get hit by a big threat. Here we're able to just continue. We're going to pull a bunch of power into the Shadowland and still get Spider-Man down. So you can still see the power of this deck even when you're not hitting the Phoenix Force itself. Our Multiple Man comes down. We've got 15 power in the Shadowland, and we are competing in both of the other locations. We have their Shang-Chi ready to go, and we can just split our power. They've got to go a long way in Shadowland, so they've either got to just bulk up on the 2 sides that they got and hope that we don't have Shang-Chi, which in this case, they gave it to us. So they're actually helping us out in this game. And they're taking their time trying to figure out the best way to do it, but it's not going to be enough. It's going to be a little bit too much for them with the Shang-Chi coming down to take out the Darkhawk here. So Shang-Chi comes through. We go up by 4. Iron Fist is just a little bit of extra power. If they wouldn't have refilled their hand, we could have taken Project Pegasus, which is why we split them up. But super fun deck here, so let's talk about it. All right, so here is the list that I ended up going with after tweaking a little bit. And I know we just talked about it, but let's just talk about the optimal play line one time here, just so that we can work it out for you guys. So ideal world, this is the way you would want to play it. Human Torch down on 1 is fine. Ultimately, it's not part of the most optimal playline. It's a backup option. If you have it in your hand, you should play it. Turn 2, Perfect World, you've got Multiple Man coming down. That makes it really easy for turn 3, following up Hulkbuster onto Multiple Man, and turn 4, going with Venom onto Multiple Man, and then also playing Iron Fist. Playing Iron Fist early so that on turn 5, Phoenix Force can come through and already start putting copies of the Multiple Man out there. And then on turn 6, obviously you would have to have like the perfect cards. You'd have to draw some cards in here, but optimal turn 6 would be Ghost Spider to pull the now buffed up Phoenix Force, which is a Multiple Man, and then Doctor Strange to do the same thing. And because you preloaded the Iron Fist, you would also have Spider-Man ready to play as well. You might run out of spots on the board, but that would be the most optimal way to play it that you could do. So I hope y'all have enjoyed the video here talking about the two lists I found that were the best for Phoenix Force and the how to play them. So if you've hung around till now, thank you. I do appreciate the support. If you haven't subscribed or liked, now would be a good time to do so. But until next time, have some fun.